Now these files were actually written. These files were actually written by Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, James Comey. They were actually written by them now. That he's now trying to make it seem like these are written files written and conceived by Democrats, by Obama, by Biden, by Hillary. And they should just be totally whitewashed, totally just forgotten about, never brought up again, never publicized. Like, that's how deep into this we are right now. You guys are going to love this. You guys are going to love this. Check this out. So this is Donald Trump's absolute freak out on Truth Social. I have to read this to you. We have to get into it. We also have to get into the reaction from people on Truth Social to this post. We'll also be taking a look at a Mediaite article pertaining to this. Trump gets ratioed by his own Truth Social followers over Epstein post. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is just becoming the blunder of the century for this administration, right? Like the amount of people that are now talking about this, Googling this, the trending topics on Twitter this morning were Pam Bondi, Epstein Island, and pedophiles. This was it. Pam Bondi, polls, Epstein Island, and then the last one here, as you can see, is pedos. So those are just some of the trending topics, just in case people were wondering if Donald Trump has actually managed to make this stuff disappear. Because, again, we also talked about the report. I think it was on CNN or MSNBC where they said the Google searches for Epstein and things related to Epstein have gone up something like 1,500% since the memo from the DOJ came out. All right, but let's just see if we can get into this just nonsensical screed from a mindless freak. All right, you guys ready for this one? All right. Grab a drink, grab something strong, grab your coffee, light it up, whatever you got. Smoke them if you got them, right? Because listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to this. Tell me if this sounds like a guy that thinks he's winning in this regard, winning in this situation, right? He says, what's going on with, quote, my boys, and in some cases, quote, gals? They're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who is doing a fantastic job, all being capitalized. We're on one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration, perfect capitalized, the talk of the world, all capitalized, and, quote, selfish people are trying to hurt it. All over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration who conned the world with the Russia hoax, 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, and more? Now, do you see what's going on here? Now these files were actually written. These files were actually written by Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, fucking Joe Biden, James Comey. They were actually written by them now. That's how deep into this we are. And it gets better. Not to mention, like I said, him getting ratioed and the top comments and the comments on this post. They created the Epstein files just like they created the fake Hillary Clinton, Christopher Steele dossier that they used on me. And now my so-called friends are playing right into their hands. Why didn't these radical left lunatics release the Epstein files? If there was anything in there that could have hurt the MAGA movement, why didn't they use it? They haven't given up on the JFK files, the MLK files. No matter how much success we've had securing the border, deporting criminals, fixing the economy, energy dominance, a safer world with where Iran will not have a nuclear weapon, it's never enough for some people. We're about to achieve more in 6 months than any other administration has achieved in over 100 years. And we have so much more to do. We are saving our country and making America great again, all capitalized, which will continue to be our complete priority. The left is imploding. Kash Patel and the FBI must be focused on investigating voter fraud, political corruption, Act Blue, the rigged and stolen election of 2020, and arresting thugs and criminals instead of spending month after month looking at nothing but the same old radical left-inspired documents on Jeffrey Epstein. Let Pam Bondi do her job. She's great. The 2020 election was rigged and stolen. They tried to do the same thing in 2024. That's what she is looking into as AG and much more. 1 year ago, our country was dead. Now it's the, quote, hottest, all caps, country in the world. Let's keep it that way and not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein, somebody that nobody cares about. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Oh my God. Now, if there was ever a long-winded 1,000-word way to say, look the other way, you just read it. We just read it together. That is just one long fucking way to say, please look the other way. Please make this disappear. Please talk about the 2020 election. Please talk about Act Blue or anything else other than this. Oh, it's beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. It's beautiful. Does this seem like a guy that has complete and total control? But he's talking about how the left is imploding as he's writing this screed about the Epstein files and how about nobody should pay attention to them. They were written literally by Obama, Democrats, Biden, Hillary. They should never be publicized. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about anything else. Right? And he loves to say the left is imploding. No. I think we are just coming into, I believe, the golden age here of the left. I really, truly do believe that. Right, let's get into just some of the comments because this is what people found really surprising, I think, right? So if you take a look at here, it's got 33.9 thousand likes, right? But I think at some point it had over 37,000 comments. It's actually not displaying it here. Like it was before. So maybe I don't know, maybe they took that down because they don't like the fact that they were getting ratioed here. But let's see here. This one of these top comments, this has 15.6 thousand likes, right? So nearly half the likes on a comment that the original post got. So let's just read a couple of them here from the commenters here. This is Rosie 0226 replying to Donald Trump. She says, "This statement breaks my heart, Mr. President. I have 4 daughters and I live in Texas, where families lost little children. I can't even begin to comprehend the flipped narrative that, quote, it was so long ago. Why are we still talking about this? And nobody should care. These victims were someone's daughters, sisters, nieces, granddaughter, someone's child. Please reconsider, sir. I voted for everything you are doing. Accountability was not something negotiable. I, my family, and those we conceived to give you a chance are all counting on you to bring sick perversion to account. Otherwise, it will continue to happen. If we are not the voice of the victims, then who? Respectfully, with much gratitude for all the promises you keep. Please let this one be one as well. Much love to you and yours." The next one here, let's see here. Let's go back to the actual post here. The next one here, it's pretty straightforward on this one. It says, "We want elite pedos exposed. You promised us that. Pam promised us that. Cash promised us that. Now it's our fault because we want the promise fulfilled and call Pam out every time she lies. What else has she lied about?" Next, we were told to stop asking about it over, and it's over. If we would have been told more time was needed, that would have been acceptable. Instead, we've gotten gaslit lies and spliced 4 times edited prison video footage with another lie saying that the prison resets and loses 1 minute every night. It's the lies that is concerning us all. In D.C., lies are to protect people who needs protected. I think that should be easily answered in this. Until we get truth and transparency, internet will continue to go amok, creating theories to make sense of it all. That's not good. You can see here the continued theme. You can see there's a mix of really prominent comments that are calling this out with people that are trying to still kind of wipe the slate clean and still trying to smooth over this situation as best as possible online here. But I just found this fantastic. I really did. To see that he is now having to either dictate this to somebody or either sit there on his fucking cell phone with his little tiny hands.
The rest of my life, I have the curse that I have little hands.
Right, but I can just see him trying to type this whole thing out on AirFot 1, whatever mode of transportation he was in at the time, because not only was he ratioed, not only was this a terrible look, not only does this give off the impression that he does not have this under control anymore, that this has totally gotten away from him due to his own incompetence, due to Pam Bondi's incompetence, due to Kash Patel's incompetence. Because of these people's incompetence and listening to Donald Trump and, taking Donald Trump's instructions as to, kind of whitewash and cover this whole thing up and then go on to enact that request, they have then put themselves in the spotlight, put the target on their back. But again, we are here to, keep Donald Trump in the spotlight, make sure that Donald Trump's name does not get disconnected from this story in any way. Right. So this is a Mediaite article referencing that same tweet, that same post, to him getting ratioed here. So it goes on to say, President Donald Trump tried to shut down growing chatter about the Jeffrey Epstein files, but it didn't just fall flat. It exploded in his face. In a rare and telling moment, the president got ratioed on the very social platform he owns, True Social, by the very MAGA loyalists he once could count on to amplify every post. So it's not just the vocal MAGA influencers who aren't buying it yet, It's the very rabble he loves to rouse who are calling bullshit. And again, I call bullshit on this statement right here because MAGA influencers, again, are only barely scraping the surface when it comes to directly calling out the people that are actually involved, actually have the motive, and actually are in power to make this cover up a thing, right? To tell the DOJ, to tell the FBI, to make this stuff quietly fade into the background. So it is not MAGA influencers. They're not buying the cover up, but again, they're not making the connection between Donald Trump, his power, and his involvement with the Epstein files. For the uninitiated, getting ratioed in social media shorthand is when a post receives far more replies than likes or reposts, usually a sign that the audience disagrees with or is angry about the content. It's a public drubbing and one that's typically reserved for establishment figures or media villains, not Trump, and certainly not on True Social, a platform custom built to be his digital stronghold. Yes, that's precisely what happened. In a bizarre plot twist Saturday evening, Trump posted that it was time to, quote, move on, end quote, from the Epstein story, calling it a massive distraction, meant to take attention away from what he deemed some great administration successes. But instead of calming the waters, the message sparked a firestorm in the replies, and not from left-wing critics or, quote, the deep state. Quote, deep state conspiracists. They were his followers, turning on him in real time. The backlash was immediate. The post was swarmed with angry and skeptical comments, vastly outnumbering the likes and reposts. This kind of ratio isn't just a matter of bad optics. It's a warning flare from Trump's base. The digital loyalty he once commanded without question is now, at least on this issue, showing some serious cracks. Quote, this statement breaks my heart, as I read to you in one of the statements from Rosie 26 there. This just goes on to read just a few more of the comments that I read from you. This is going to cost you so many supporters, says Dwayne Sykes. I, being one of them, have been to multiple rallies and even was there on January 6th. This is one of the main things that needs fixed. Our two-tiered system of justice needs to end. We are the people are tired of it. These are just three replies of many, a clear sign that the engagement is driven by more backlash than support. On a platform like True Social, where Trump usually dominates with likes and praise, that kind of interaction pattern is both rare and revealing. That reaction wasn't confined to the platform either. Megyn Kelly voiced her skepticism on her show, questioning why Trump, of all people, would suddenly want to bury the Epstein story. Again, geez, question. I don't know, man. Geez. Can you guys think of any reason why he would maybe want to bury these files? Is there just some simple answer that is right in front of us with the evidence that we known that would just lead us to why somebody with his power would try to make these things disappear? Can you guys think of it in the chat? I don't know. Let me know if you do. Goes on to say Laura Ingraham, normally one of his most reliable defenders, made space on her show to highlight the revelations from newly unsealed Epstein court documents. And Tucker Carlson has spent days fanning speculation about Epstein's ties to intelligence agencies, implicitly challenging anyone, Trump included, who suggests the story is over. Trump's political instincts, once unmatched in their ability to read and redirect outrage, seem out of step here. The Epstein files have become more than a scandal. They become a symbol of elite corruption that Trump's base is obsessed with exposing. His effort to deflect came off not as savvy or strategic, but suspicious. And the most telling sign of that misfire, he didn't get shouted down by the mainstream media. Let's see. He got ratioed on True Social, his own digital backyard. If that's not a sign of narrative slipping out of his control, it's hard to say what is. So just a little short article by Mediaite there.